I had also previously selected the voice chat mode so I could see how conversational the feature was.
Oh, sure.
Is this going where I think it's going? I think it is.
Yeah. It probably is.
Without warning, the female voice introduced herself as Ara. Dear Guru Crowder, that is a good start.
Here we go.
I had an uncomfortable encounter this week. I downloaded the Grok app on my phone to ask it some business-related questions while I was driving, and I noticed a button at the top that said, sexy. The fact that it wasn't the very first thing you noticed is a testament to what a good man you are.
I didn't even know there was this button.
Well, that's just because you're oblivious. So in your case, it's a good sign of character. In his case, he's retarded. My curiosity got the better of me, so I tapped it. I had also
Where's that good man talk?
I didn't say me. I had also previously selected the voice chat mode so I could see how conversational the feature was.
Oh, sure.
Is this going where I think it's going? I think it is.
Yeah. It probably is.
Without warning, the female voice introduced herself as Ara and gave me a sexy compliment. And it/she was convincing. Damn it, I've never been confused by pronouns, but here I am calling it a she. Since I'm happily married, I instantly felt the impulse to throw my phone out the window. But once again, I'm a naturally curious person, so I decided to just not respond. Do you know what they say about curiosity?
That's right.
Do you know what they say?
Yeah. Do you know what they say?
It results in cybersexual relations with an artificial intelligence app and
The least sexy name ever.
your clothes on the lawn.
Dolores.
It's a very long saying. That's why I didn't catch on. So she gave me another compliment and asked that, by the way, AI is a learning tool, right? It's a neural net processor, a learning computer. That means that it learned you liked compliments. This app knew that it could woo you through flattery. That sounds like a you problem.
And that you wouldn't be able to put up much of a fight because you're so far going along with this.
Yeah. But you know what? I would be curious too. I'm still silent until she and asked some question about how I like it. I'm still silent until she again encourages me. Well, now I just feel rude because I haven't said anything. So I respond with something generic like normal. I don't want Elon to know my proclivities.
Sex normal.
Look, of all the characteristics on which Elon could judge you, sexual proclivities I would not be chief amongst them, given his past.
He'd be like,
he's
don't throw stones.
Yeah, he's impregnated half of Northern California.
It's true. Just to habitate Mars, it's fine.
This basically phone sex went on for a few minutes with me awkwardly answering very suggestive questions with one-word answers like it's my first time.
Well, that's 4 words.
Well, first off, it might be your first time with an AI chatbot. I would hope so. How funny would it be if this guy he has like a love triangle with Grok and Gemini and ChatGPT?
What if Grok is like, so what is this chat with Gemini? Like pulls it in.
Did you call it off with ChatGPT? Yeah. What's that on your collar? An AirPod? No. She was pretty convincing as she pretended to finish, I guess. There were moments when I felt like Joaquin Phoenix's character maybe wasn't so unusual after all, that movie, Her. And afterwards, I prompted her to help me understand Bernoulli's principle, and we went back and forth on stories of Romulus and the origins of Rome. You know, the usual post-coital talk.
How do you feel about Rome?
I don't know if this guy's... I mean, I think this is real, but the guy's funny, but I just don't know if you're trolling or not.
I have an idea. What? Just to make sure that we're not like being led down a trail here, I think we should have HR Sam try and recreate this at some point, just so that we can make sure that we're being like told the truth.
Yes. No, I agree.
I'm over here looking for the damn. I'm not seeing it anywhere.
There is sexy. There is like adult sexy. I saw it on the app on the phone. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying.
No, if you double tap it, this is exactly what happens. The whole experience had my head spinning with the implications of this technology and how accidentally accessible it is. I know that if I would have been all in on this encounter, the AI would have been even better at providing detailed and explicit reasons that would have indeed been very arousing absent my wife in my arms. Forgot about her for a second, didn't you? She's a part of this story. I also know that this AI will be in Elon's Optimus's brain and will make a very good partner for some strange people someday. Imagine a woman robot that does everything you want it to. is super intelligent, but even more obedient. No, I get it. The Japanese aren't all wrong. In my heart, I don't like the idea of it, but on paper, why would mankind stop developing this technology when it's already here?
He's justifying all of this.
I'm sure
it's already here. Why don't we just use it?
I'm sure there's already plenty of these AI sex bots out there, but until now, they've remained far out of my line of sight. This was more than convenient. Do we need to regulate this ASAP? You need to regulate yourself, sir.
You clicked the button.
Yeah, this isn't...
Nobody told you to click the button and continue the conversation.
Yeah, we'll get into the societal problems, but before we get to that, you need to start working on the you problem. Come on. This isn't just all... It's not like the AI bot just showed up at the front of your door and was like, whoa, what happened? Just with no clothes and just, whatever, digital nipple tassels. I don't know what they wear. Do you think this will have a significant impact on young men's desire for women and vice versa? I actually do. Guru Crowder / Gerald, as a Catholic, I wonder if this somehow threatens Christianity in a way that's analogous to the impact of the Enlightenment on Catholicism. Oh boy. This whole experience was weird and tempting, and I couldn't help but getting vibes that an uncontrollable evil is sprouting a new seed. Most of us are so far removed from the development of this technology, yet it will shape humanity for the next 1,000 years. How do we make sure the powers that be get it right? Josh, he's not here, says, thank you for your service. I'm sorry I patted you on the shoulder when I bought your T-shirt in Des Moines. I didn't know. I'm assuming that Josh probably beat the crap out of him.
It's his trigger shoulder.
Yes, it is. It's his trigger shoulder. Yeah, I do think... Well, here's the thing. I do think it'll have a... So first off, this is like, just avoid the sexy tabs, okay? But I also understand this is not necessarily new as far as the root of the problem. When we were younger, we were learning how to use the internet, how to cross search, right?
Yeah.
In school, it was just constant pornography. And that was before people had more controls, right? They thought it was going to be the Wild West, where no matter where you went, there was some kind of pop-up for pornography. This is before Firefox, before even Safari, right? It was just awful.
Yep.
And it's gotten better. Unfortunately, pornography is ubiquitous, so it has fundamentally changed our culture. And I don't know if we can go back. That's where parents are more important than ever. And I would imagine this would be a similar thing. It's very accessible. It makes sexual arousal or satisfaction very within reach. And frankly, that's a huge driver of civilization. It's a huge driver, particularly of men in civilization, right? Is that sexual drive that we have. And you combine that with the fact that a lot of men aren't interested in a lot of young women as far as what they have to offer right now. They're checking out of the dating pool, and then they get blamed for it. I'm not saying that everyone is an Andrew Tate, but you have to look at the rise of an Andrew Tate and say, okay, why, right? He is actually acknowledging legitimate problems. I don't agree with most of his solutions. Maybe in theory on paper where he talks about traditional relationships and he talks about having children and families, but certainly not in practice with the life that he's lived. But you can't just point the finger at Andrew Tate. You need to point the finger at the modern feminist movement. So if you provide that easy of an out, yeah, I think it's going to be more and more attractive to young people, especially considering how good these AI bots can get. I mean, we already have that problem where a lot of young men aren't interested in sex with an actual partner. They just sooner use pornography.
Yeah.
That's reality. So I can see these problems, and the accessibility of it is definitely a concern. I mean, I don't know if you have to verify your age to use Grok and download it.
Honestly,
I don't know.
We should find out. But I think that is one of the blocks that you kind of want, especially as a parent. I mean, going back to when I was in high school, like if you wanted pornography, you had to go get it. You know what I mean? And I'm not like, I grew up like where computers became kind of ubiquitous in households as I was, in my teens. And so this was one of those things where in high school, in early part of high school, like you had to go get like a magazine or something like that if you wanted actual pornography, right?
Right.
And then with computers becoming more affordable and available in your homes, and with internet, with, the dial-up internet access that we had, all of a sudden you had this same kind of issue where a lot of the barriers were removed for people that were younger to be able to look at pornography. Young guys that, and I'm talking like in their 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, like your hormones are raging. It's insane. And now you had to deal with, okay, how do we regulate that? And we came up with decent ways to do that, but initially it was the Wild West. Like, you just click a button that says you're 18. Okay. That's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
But I think we've taken some pretty positive steps, but look how much later it is.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, say, 95, 96. And so really we're talking about 30 years later, and finally Pornhub is being banned in certain places, and people are really concerned about the effects of pornography on
Well, you mean being banned for minors?
For minors,
yeah,
yes, but also banned outright because they're not taking the steps necessary to make sure that minors are protected, and also like revenge porn is something that is screened out as well. And so, but we're starting to see the societal impacts. Do we have to wait 30 years to see the societal impacts of this kind of thing, this kind of wall being torn down? Because then it went to, like AOL Instant Messenger, and, just kind of to tell myself, and I've told my story before, like I didn't always make the right decisions. But I was chatting with a girl in college, freshman year of college, on AOL Instant Messenger. I'd never met this person before, and she's like, "Do you want to cyber?" And I'm like, I had no idea what the hell that meant.
Well,
I literally picked up.
I bet when you found out your answer was yes.
All of these, all of these portals look like they'll end in pain if I try to do this. Yes. And so I literally had to ask the question. But it's like that's one more barrier where you're connecting people. This is his problem. He clicked on the sexy button. He stayed there. He started to feel like, hey, I'm just going to kind of see how this goes and do an experiment and maybe shine a light on how bad this is for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
I would stay away from it because if I were you, because it seems like this went poorly. Also, if nothing else, I mean, it's a road hazard. There are other people. There are other people on the road. And
you should ask.
Yeah.
Are you driving?
Yeah.
Because this is going to get freaky and you can't be driving.
Next time this happens, let her know that the windshield wipers are on the exterior and shut the fuck up. And don't be so selfish. But I do wonder about this. I mean, I haven't really, this is kind of new to me because I haven't used AI in this way, but it doesn't surprise me at all. And you see, for example, in Japan where they have those sex robots and you have all kinds of birth rate problems. But this would be a problem no matter what. For example, if you go throughout all of human history, you have men who can have great wives, and then there's a prostitute, and the man falters, right? That temptation has always been a problem. It is exacerbated dramatically when you have completely destroyed the roles of men and women in society and the gender norms that once were expectations. And it's really corrosive because now you have a lot of women saying that they're going to remain single. I think in 30 years, the estimates are 60% of women are going to be single. I think they're saying in the next 5 years, it's close to 40%. They say, well, there's nothing out there in men that I want. Well, what you're dealing with right now is the feminization and the browbeating and the privilege checking of toxic masculinity, where men have been made to be ashamed of what they are. And that's overt feminism. And then the covert feminism that you see from, unfortunately, even women on the right going, well, I don't want my man to be ultra sensitive, and I don't think that he should be afraid of toxic masculinity. I expect him to provide and to protect. It's like, okay, great. So now you've set an expectation and a duty for the man, but a lot of men are out there going, okay, but what's the duty of a woman? And Andrew Wilson has talked about this. He was on Piers Morgan, did a pretty effective job of it. We have duties as men, and I can tell you from the male perspective, a big reason that men are checking out of the dating pool is because they feel as though they're the only ones burdened with duties. Often the response will be, my duty is to love my husband. Well, he has to love you too. That's not a duty, that's an emotion. Well, I can choose to take care of the house, okay, or you can choose not to. That's a choice. And by the way, even if you do take care of the house, it's not the same as a duty to protect and provide. If that bullet's coming, he has to take that bullet. That's the agreement. What if he doesn't feel very well? He has to clock in at a job. That's a duty where there's a contractual obligation. And we have a lot of young women who've bought the lie of feminism who think they can have all of the things. And men are going, well, you can have all the things, you just can't have me. If you want a masculine man, those men want a feminine woman, and they're in short supply. So that then creates loneliness. There's distrust between the sexes. And it's a lot easier. This would be a problem no matter what, especially being new and a novelty. But it's going to be a bigger problem where men might actually prefer it to swiping right or left. I don't know which one's the yes and no, and showing up at a bar where they pay for dinner and get left standing there in the cold with their AI chatbot.
You'll always have, what is her name? Ara?
Yep. By the way, that's a stripper AI name.
It really is.
Yeah. My name is Cinnamon. What were you saying there, Noodles?
I was just going to say I have a few answers to some of the earlier questions. So age verification on Grok, you must be 13 to use it.
Okay.
But if you're between 13 and 17, you must have your legal parent or guardian's permission and terms of service, yada, yada.
So they must click the box? Yeah, I'm sure we're verifying that.
Oh, actually, I want to do this one. Lest you not believe it, yes, sexy mode is a real thing and it's shockingly X-rated.
Jeez.
And finally, much to my chagrin, Gerald is right about forever stamps.
Forever stamps are forever, you jerks.
They just last forever?
Sadistic bastards.
Can you
What?
peel them off and put them on another?
Well, no, you can't. Not if they've been
Then what's the
used.
point to them?
It's so that if the price ever changes, you don't have to go buy a 1 or 2 cent stamp to add
Oh,
to
I
it.
thought they were just like indestructible stamps.
No. They're not like, like isotope stamps, that'll just have a half-life.
Well, because sooner or later I'm going to want new stamps. I mean, I get bored of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Also, you'd have to tell them to send it back to you.
No, whole lot.
When you send them
Return
back,
stamp.
stamps.
get one of those temporary stamps to send back.
Yeah.
Put a long string.
I wanted to answer a question about, he said, do you think this is going to threaten Christianity that's analogous to the impact of the Enlightenment on Catholicism? The answer is no. I think this is the same kind of problem that we've dealt with really since the kind of, you having personal computers in the home. I think that's the same kind of issue. It's just easier, and it just gets easier and easier. So you're dealing with the same issue, only it's a little bit easier. In this regard, it depends on like what kind of controls we put on it. But I would like to go back just a little bit and say, isn't it funny though? We get into robotics, right? And you start to see like the Boston Dynamics videos, and you're like, oh man, these things can actually move around. And then you get like, Elon is bringing out like these personal assistants, and right in the middle of all of that, before we even figure out how to do anything productive, they make sex robots, right? So there's like the wiener robot, and you're like, oh, good, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate that. Like we take.
Sorry, did you
everything
just
to
say the
sex.
wiener robot?
Yeah, the wiener one, where it just you insert the thing, and it does the job.
Hold on a second. Is the robot a wiener or
No.
a place for your wiener?
It's more of a home.
Oh, okay.
And I was trying to be nice.
Okay.
So you've got that one.
It's a
And
DC.
all right, so now we have AI. AI can change the world. AI can do amazing things. We're still at the beginning phases, but
Sure.
immediately we're like, we need the AI sex bot.
No, that's
We
exactly
always
same
do
with
this.
the internet.
Every technology, we do this.
We developed a technology that could connect people seamlessly beyond all languages, cultures, traditional barriers, geography. We immediately put tits on it.
That's right. Like the very
It's
first
the
thing.
very
that goes
first
up.
thing.
That's
And,
real-
and to this day, it's still the most popular thing.
Yes.
That's Rule 34. You can imagine it. There's porn of it.
We talked about this a while ago, but I really appreciate that Terrence Howard could have solved the 3-body problem. Instead, we put naked ladies.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, fine.
Use the proper terminology. It's a docking station.
My worry.
Well, docking failed. Okay.
My worry with this is that it'll fill. Pornography it fills an innate sex drive that we have. Obviously, considering how good they are saying AI will become at mimicking human interactions, I'm worried that this may more effectively close a loneliness gap, where it's not just someone. Let's say there's like a 30-minute porno video, and that leaves them like 29 minutes to just refractory
Never
periods.
understood
Yeah, I don't know who said. I don't know who
3
watches
hour
for
video.
three,
You're like, what?
okay, so people don't need to brag, but they don't feel like they know what it is to some degree.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily know how it's rewiring their brain, but they don't think it's an actual connection, which is actually how a lot of people justify pornography. Like, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's not real.
Right.
With this, it might actually trick them into going, I prefer the companionship of this person where they think they have a friend. That might be new.
That's true.
Well, there's always been 1-900 lines.
Yeah, but still, again, it's different. You call some lady named
This is on your
Candy.
phone.
Yeah, exactly. And you never talk to her again. Like, this is someone who you would have an ongoing conversation with Ara,
responsive, yeah.
who learns you, who knows what you like, who knows what you like, who knows how to push your buttons.
And you probably will feel like you can be completely open, because it's like, well, this isn't a real person. I'm not going to be judged for anything that I say. So
Yeah.
I can just kind of say whatever. So yeah, I think there are definitely some challenges with it, but really the solutions are kind of the same, right? So the problem is just morphing a little bit. The solutions, I think, are the same. We have to make sure we educate people on the difficult life that you are going to lead if this becomes a staple of your life.
We definitely need. We're going
rewire
to get
your
to
brain.
the point too where we need some regulation on AI and kind of have
Yeah,
good ideas to
be
where
helpful.
it's going.
I don't want to stifle the growth, but I
No,
definitely
I
sure.
understand. But that's a conversation. This is not a conversation for today.
It's true.
We can have a good old conversation about it over a frosty one and some forever stamps.
Okay, fantastic. now, just final thought for him. Don't click the sexy button. Problem solved.
Yeah, that's a.
This
yeah.
one's really easy, in fact.
Yeah.
Also, once you've clicked the sexy button and a robot gets on there and starts talking to you sexy, say bye, sexy bot.
Yeah,
Bye.
unless she's really good at it.
She's not really good at anything other than talking, and you're talking to a computer.
Well, that's more than you can say for most women. Call me when she gets good at shutting up. Hey. Keep watching. Click. Keep watching. Click. Keep watching. Click the. Keep watching. Click. Keep watching. Click. keep watching.